Just going. We're here at the Trusted Business Community Association's Eastern International Growth Hub, and we are joined by Dominic Papasaggio, who is a drone specialist, and he's also got a love for photography and film. As you can probably tell from what's going on in his background, he's married the two together. So Dominic is our keynote speaker here today. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Dominic to go through his presentation and how drone technology and photography can really elevate your business and your profile. Over to you, Dominic.
Okay. In opening, I'll say we've always wanted to fly just because of the view, but because it changes what we see. For centuries, creators have tried to capture perspective, painters climbed mountains, photographers dangled from helicopters, and filmmakers begged for budgets they didn't have. Then they came across drones. These are quiet, agile, and accessible. Suddenly, the sky was open to everyone with imagination and a controller. Today, drone technology isn't just a tool, it's a creative revolution in slow motion, the kind that sneaks up on you at industries and changes them forever. Okay, that's my opening. Would you like to, anybody would like to make a comment on that? If not, I will continue on to giving you more context on it. Creativity used to be confined by logistics. You could only film what you could reach. You could only tell stories from where you stood. But the moment cameras took flight, our creative vocabulary expanded overnight. A single aerial shot, as you can see from behind me, turns an ordinary subject into something epic. A local business, a music video, a short film, all can look cinematic now because drones democratized the perspective. And perspective is a lifeblood of creativity. It's what separates the copycats from the originals. Now I will give you another thought on the transformation. Now, I'm going to do this from an Australian point of view because that's where I live, and I think it'd be best to discuss that. Across Australia, from indie filmmakers to real estate storytellers, musicians, event producers, and creatives, they are using drones to reimagine what their work can look like. The musician who uses drone footage to turn a backyard gig into a visual odyssey. The designer who maps festival layouts from the sky to create a flow that feels like music. The small brand that uses aerial storytelling to make its message feel global. Drones don't replace creativity, they amplify it. Take your ideas and give them some lateral altitude. And for the best part, you don't need $1 million rig or a Hollywood studio anymore. Just a steady hand, a trained eye, and a bit of vision. The drone becomes your paintbrush, your lens, and your co-conspirator. Now I will delve into the philosophy of it. When I fly, I'm reminded that creativity and curiosity are the same muscle. You point your lens at something familiar, and from the right height, it becomes extraordinary, as you can see behind me. That's the power of this technology. It teaches us to reframe, to look again, to see the ordinary from a divine angle. Because creativity isn't about inventing from nothing, it's about noticing what everybody else misses. Drones just help you notice from a better seat. And in my closing arguments, for creative entrepreneurs, the drone isn't the point, the perspective is. Whether you're building a brand, shooting a film, or designing an experience, you need to rise above your own assumptions. The view from above gives you more than a shot. It gives you clarity. It reminds you the world is bigger, messier, and more beautiful than we remember when we're glued to a screen. So fly high, capture stories, and make people feel inspired at the same time. And when you land, bring that perspective back to the ground, into your work, into your craft, into your business. Because when creativity takes flight, so does everything else. And thank you for the talk. And now I will take questions. Anybody wish to?
Yeah, thanks for showcasing that. I think it's really, really important to let me just take you off of spotlight, so we can see everybody. I think obviously looking at you say, I mean, I come from an industry where lots of photographs were taken. Back in the day, I was in a estate agency. So a lot of real estate for those who are in different parts of the world.
Realtors for the
And
US people.
yeah. So as an estate agent, photography was really important because you had to capture the angle, especially if internal photographs were really sort of, you had to really know what you're doing with the camera. Otherwise, the room looked so small if you didn't use the right lens width as well as obviously the right angle to get the maximum exposure of that room. Then, of course, there's the outside. And the outside is very, from a low level, it's very sort of, it is very feet very firmly on the floor. That this kind of technology works perfectly for real estate, because obviously, especially new build homes and things like that, where you can show the actual whole site that's being developed.
You can show it as a point of interest, meaning you can show it from the lamppost angle and across. You can also do what's called a point of interest orbit, where you place yourself and your focus on the middle of an area, and you can go right around it.
Yeah, sort of work your way around as well. So
no, you work at what the camera starts in the middle and goes around.
Gotcha.
And it actually orbits it. Or you can do another focus where it just goes right around rather than goes that way, rather than doing it all the way around. So you're going around the perimeter and looking at it. That's another one.
One of the things I wanted to highlight is that you are very much involved in talking to other drones pilot specialists from around the world.
I'm part of a larger community.
Yeah.
And what I can do is we'll go through, because I've got a couple of questions from Tim and Joe.
Yeah, by all means,
We'll go through that questioning, and then I will point out to people who are in respective areas on who you can look at and get an idea. And if you need something, or if you actually want to buy something, I'm happy to help out, but I'm also happy to point you in the right direction of people who do something in your area, so you can understand
exactly where I was going with it, Dominic. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with it.
Okay, Tim.
Yeah, brilliant. Tim, you had your hand up first, my friend.
You got the floor.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dominic. Yeah, on my list of things to have is to have a drone and play with it, because I find it fascinating what you can do. Absolutely amazing. But my question is, where is this technology going to go in a few years' time with drones?
Right, that's a loaded question. I've spoken to a lot of people, and I've spoken to people that do various things, in terms of surveillance, photogrammetry, which is taking 3D models of estates or 3D models of, structures like you've got behind me. And what they do is they make a point cloud of it. And that point cloud becomes a digital twin. So they actually have a visual application for it. So they know the size of it. And if they wish to do some renovations, they can use that along with other AI equipment and other AI functions to see what it would look like if they added, subtracted, made it bigger. And then they can also work on it and fit it into their planning. And it's for architects where they can also do what's called I'm trying to think of the word. I've just gone blank. progress. It's a progress photography where they progress, and each month they'll come back and do the same waypoint. Now, a waypoint is basically recording each movement and then coming back to it in a month, or coming back to it in a set period of time, where they'll do exactly the same thing on the same angle, and you'll be able to see the progress when you look at it. So has that answered your question, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's amazing what is possible with it. I'll share some other things off it, because the company that I'm connected with has developed a humanitarian drone in conjunction with I think it's the Belgian government. I'll share something with you. Maybe it'll interest you of what else has happened. I'm not by any means a drone perfect person, but from what I've heard and what you're talking about, I find it absolutely fascinating. So thanks for sharing.
And the other thing is, I find it fascinating that that word is actually a very umbrella term for anything that's 249 grams, and it goes all the way up to 150 grams, 150 kilos, sorry. Anything in that size. And then there's the commercial aspect of it. There's the consumer versions, and then there's what's called the prosumer version, which is a little bit above that, but less than, say, a military application. So we'll go on to Joe now. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think it's just really nice to connect with you and your message. And there's a tremendous amount of value. I've been tempted to buy a drone several times, but I don't want to get too distracted from the work that I do. So at some point, I probably will get one.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I'm gonna add something into that.
Yeah,
In that, it's actually a great therapeutic device. That it is great for a relaxation. Once you get into a field that is away from anybody, and it is legal, of course, and you're in the correct airspace, and you take it out, and then you fly, and then leave it for the battery's about 30 minutes. So you just basically forget everything and you go for a fly, and that's it. So that's what I've done, and that's what I've spoken to a number of my other pilots that I know actually do that. And it's for just a real therapeutic exercise, where all you do is you basically put the blinkers up, and then you just think. And once you think there, everything goes away. So I just thought
I do actually have a question for you.
Yeah, so go for it.
I just want to acknowledge you that you're clearly technically very into the drones, and artistically, you're clearly an artist that loves playing with the artistic aspects. And my curiosity is really around, from a commercial, I'm a marketing guy, so who is your ideal customer, and what's that thing that brings you cash to pay the bills. Who's your ideal customer? Who can we refer to you that's that person that's going to pay you so you can make a good living? I'm curious. I'm just curious to know how you're monetizing this and how we can send the right people your way.
Real estate agents, travel and tourism, e.g. for brochures and anything like a postcard. And then on the other side of it, you've got the cinematic part. And that's the cinematic part where I've just discussed real estate, event management. And then we go off onto the commercial side of it, where you're looking at construction, you are looking at various environmental concerns, where you can take photos of fields, solar panel inspections, where you can actually do progress videos and show that there might be a a desalination of something, or you might notice that a certain crop is not growing in that area. And then if you're on the ground, you don't realize how big it is until you get up from above and say, okay, this bit here and this bit here is not working. And then if you actually have more equipment, e.g. things like thermal imaging, imaging in terms of other spectral analysis was the word I was looking for. If you have a spectral analysis camera, you have a thermal camera, you can actually see where everything is going, where everything has come from, where everything is gone. You can do the same thing with solar panels, but that is out of my wheelhouse really, because I don't have that sort of equipment, but you can use it. There is building washing is now another application, but they are basically the size of a small car in terms of things that you can wash buildings with. Agriculture, you can spray crops with them. I could go on and on and on about other applications, because each time I say one, I think of another one. And
I get that there's all these I
Yeah.
get there's all these things you can do. I mean, there's military application too.
Yeah, I haven't gone down that path because that's way out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
But in
but
terms of anything,
I want to know who we can send to you that's your ideal
generally,
customer.
what from my point of view, for people who are in other countries, I think the best way is if you have a travel agent or any events company sending people to Melbourne, Australia. I'm happy to provide any aerials that needs to be used to put in their brochures, to put it bluntly for you, Joe.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody else wish to?
Anybody else
in?
got any questions at all? Carolyn, you've known Dominic for quite some time. You've certainly known him longer than I have, because it was you who actually introduced us to Synergy in the first place.
That's correct, yes. I just
any
wanted
observations?
to ask you about the different sizes of drones.
Okay,
So the size of drone you use, obviously with other things that you mentioned and with crops and so on, I've seen huge drones. So you've also got all sorts of applications. So is there a particular size that you use for different things?
Now, I'm going to say this with the Australian regulations, and then I'm going to add the UK regulations, because I'm also very conversant with that, because I know a chap by the name of Sean Hickey. He does Geeks Varna on YouTube, and he also runs a production company. I've known him for 3 years, and in that period of time, we've swapped stories and swapped a lot of technology and a lot of discussion on what Australia does, which is the Civil Aviation Authority. And in the in the UK, it's the CAA, which is the Civil Aviation Authority. Now, we've swapped many stories. Now, over here, we have a 2 kilo category, 2 to 7, 7 to 25, and 25 to 150. Now, the one that I use weighs in at 895 grams. Now, in the UK, you've got different regulations in terms of size. Now, over here, from anything under 250 is considered a toy, and you don't need any special regulations. From 250 to 500, you need what's called an operator accreditation. It's a free certificate, and you have to have an online test. So you've got a medium level of proficiency. Then after 500, you are charged the small levy because of its size. And then anything under 2 kilos is considered the exempt category, and what I use. But if you wish to get the next level, which is anything under 7 kilos, and you have a public liability insurance and what's called the remote pilot's license, you get a little more leniency and you are allowed to do more jobs. Then you go to the next category over here, and you get a better requirement to fly at night, fly in restricted zones with authority, where you put in your paperwork and you say you want to do this. There are certain areas that are forbidden and you can't touch, but there are places that if you give them enough notice and you give them your flight plan and you cough up a few dollars, you can get a permit for those areas. But if it's a restricted area, it is going to be very hard to get that permit. Now, another discussion for you. If you are in the UK and you wish to purchase one of these, go to Geeks Varna's channel, GEEKSVANA, go to his YouTube channel and watch all his videos, and you will become get enough information for it. So that's for the UK people.
Thanks very much, Dominic.
Has anybody got any other questions at all? No? Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Dominic, for giving us an insight into aerial drone photography. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Dom. I think it's amazing what we've got at our fingertips, isn't it? And sometimes, thinking just from things from a different angle gives a different perspective. And it's great to have you on here showcasing how drone technology can
just to give you one more last bit of perspective. Years ago, you would see the helicopter with a gimbal on it.
Yeah.
That I can do in something the best part of 30 centimeters.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And
it
it
really
can
is.
do everything and more. So,
and of course, as Dominic hinted on earlier on in when I was asking the initial question, he is connected around the world to other drone specialists. So he's although Joe's question was, who's your ideal client? Well, of course, Melbourne in Australia is where the ideal potential client is on site. But if there's a company looking to get aerial photography for that area, then Dominic would be the go-to guy for that.
I can hook you up with California, Texas, Nevada, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana, Florida, Massachusetts, Vermont, and New York.
And then, of course, in the UK, you've got connections here in the UK. And Europe as well. Europe as well, Dominic.
I know someone in Spain.
But there you go. It's all right. We've got somebody in Spain, so that's good. So we've got Paul de Kock on the call, so he's based over in Spain. So there's lots of people that you can introduce. So don't think just because Dominic may be regionally restricted. And of course, if you put him on a flight to your country, he'll come and do it for you.
Good, if you wanted to.
No problem at all.
I'm going to put this here. If anybody wants to fly me to Florida in April next year, there's 150 drone pilots over there.
There you go. So feel free to reach out to Dominic on LinkedIn. You'll find him on LinkedIn. Dominic, could you do me a favor? Can you put your connection details in the chat for me so that people can hook up with you? And if they want to take it further, obviously, or ask you any further questions after today,
definitely.
It'll be ideal, an ideal connection for you. And as well as, obviously, if anybody knows anybody, like Joe was hinting on, who is your ideal client, we can think about who we can send out to you and connect you to. Thank you once again, Dominic, for that wonderful presentation. We're going to be popping you back into breakout rooms. And Dominic will be in one of those this time round. So he stayed with us for the first bit. we're going to pop you in. So if you have any questions and you're in his breakout room, we will mix them up over the next 45 minutes. So you'll all have the opportunity to ask further questions as we move him around and you around in the breakout rooms. But once again, thanks, Dominic, for a fantastic presentation and an insight into aerial photography used and applicated by the drone specialist that Dominic is from Northside Hawk. Dominic, lovely to have you with us, and thank you
No
once
worries.
again.